Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has declared a state of emergency with effect from today, Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Trying the same rowley as of midnight tonight, I guess. My response: you shouldn't govern a nation using an SOE for an entire term in office, Madam Prime Minister. Now, I don't know if that's what she's going to continue to do, but thus far, it seems as though she's just following in the footsteps of former Emperor Rowley, who used the SOE a whole lot of times in his last term in office. I want to say focus on reforming the incompetent, broken and corrupt TTPS, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, which has an extremely low detection rate and is known worldwide for cases of extrajudicial killings, extortion, and drug trafficking. The same rogue cops who tamper with evidence, like recently, are the ones you are relying on to reduce crime in TNT. No, Madam Prime Minister, that is what you really need to focus on: improving the effectiveness of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And as I've said, for many years now, I don't think you need even a ZOSO law in order to be able to place a mobile police post, and probably even invite or not invite, but instruct the regiment to work along with the TTPS to reside or to stay and occupy those hotspot areas in Trinidad and Tobago with these mobile posts. And you put them along the coastal areas as well to deter anyone from illegally entering our country. That's what you need to do. And I could be wrong. Legal experts outside there could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even believe you need a ZOSO law in order to do that. The ZOSO law, what it ends up doing is suspending the constitutional rights of citizens and giving police officers the powers to be able to invade people's homes without a warrant. And now this is what is going to happen yet again with this SOE. Madam Prime Minister, is this going to prohibit or prevent individuals from protesting if they are against certain policy decisions that you're making in your administration? And bear in mind, people, I do support a lot of what the UNC administration is doing, putting aside the taxes and the fees and the fines. I love how Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar is standing with America. She's not formally or officially standing with Israel, and I hope that she does so in the future. I was quite disappointed to hear that she actually removed Israel from her statement of support for what is taking place in Iran. Nevertheless, so there's a lot of things that I do support the Prime Minister with. But once again, Madam Prime Minister, you are overshadowing all the good that you're doing with these types of negative policies and decisions that you are making. How much longer will you continue to use an SOE to give a false impression of crime being reduced in the country? Every time you have to end the SOE, what ends up happening? There's a spike again, because you're not addressing the root causes of crime. Number one, gang culture. And a matter of fact, number one, yes, gang culture. Let's leave number one as gang culture, because gang culture is even influencing the police officers here in Trinidad and Tobago. And number two, the TTPS corruption and incompetence. That is what you need to address. There's need for significant reform in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. While Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar faces criticism over her support of the United States and Israel's major attack on Iran, now that's what the article is saying, but from what I heard online and in the news, she retracted the Israel aspect of it. I don't know if she actually came out and said that she's not supporting Israel, but I know officially with the statement, they're just saying United States. So nevertheless, getting back to the statement here, the article, one Muslim leader believes the Prime Minister may be acting in what she considers the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago, but notes that her hands may also be tied. Now, at least this individual is moving quite, reasonable in his statement. Must commend him for that. Nevertheless, my response was, we all have the right to stand up for what is right in this world. And therefore, this has nothing to do with the Prime Minister having any influence or authority over the decisions made pertaining to the U.S. and Israeli military operations in Iran. The fact remains that the Ayatollah regime, so her hands aren't tied or anything like that. No one is forcing Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar to support the United States of America, sir. Once again, giving you credit for being quite reasonable in your statement, though. So the fact remains that the Ayatollah regime oppresses their own citizens and have been attempting to develop weapons of mass destruction, which would have been used to attack places in Europe, Israel, and the USA. Even Iran's Arab neighbors are now realizing that the Ayatollah regime cannot be trusted. They're not just attacking the military bases, people, civilian areas. They haven't only attacked sovereign nations, including allies, because that's what they're doing. They're attacking their own sovereign allies, the sovereign nations of their, many of them are their allies. So they haven't only attacked sovereign nations, including allies, but also destroyed residential buildings instead of only targeting U.S. military bases. But even if it was just U.S. military bases they were targeting, places like Saudi Arabia and so forth, who try to remain neutral, but sometimes defend Iran at times as well. I believe even Saudi Arabia was telling Trump not to invade, right? I'm very sure they are displeased. As a matter of fact, I'm very sure that they are angry. Qatar as well, that Iran is targeting their country without any sort of permission from them. I'm very sure even Qatar did not give Iran the permission to attack any bases in their country. Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander is urging migrants to take advantage of the current migrant registration framework. Give credit when credit is due, he is correct. Speaking to reporters at the Atto Boldon Stadium in Couva, Minister Alexander reminded the public of the consequences for migrants if they fail to register. Last Wednesday, February 25th, was the final day for online registration, so please take note of that. In-person interviews began today, well, yesterday actually, at the Hazley Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain, Larry Gomes Stadium in Harima, Atto Boldon Stadium in Couva, and will continue until March the 27th. You have the whole of this month to go and get registered. Registration in Tobago will commence today, Tuesday, at the Dwight York Stadium until Wednesday, March 11th. Once again, give credit when credit is due. I like how the Kamla Persad administration isn't moving as harsh as the Trump administration. Of course, they are going to send back criminals, those who are convicted criminals, those who are gang members to Venezuela and other countries. Because remember, it's not just about Venezuela. This is about anyone that is coming in our country and are migrants. So they will send back the criminals, but they're giving those who are basically law-abiding individuals the opportunity to stay here and work hard and probably even enter the education system and so forth, especially the young people. So I love how the Kamla Persad administration has taken this type of policy decision, unlike the Trump administration, whom I support in many different ways, like securing their border. I think they're being quite too harsh when it pertains to the migrants. A lot of those individuals should have been given the opportunity to stay, even if it's on a temporary basis, just like what the Kamla Persad administration is doing here. And they could have generated a lot of income by doing so. Just the same way how the Kamla Persad administration is charging a fee, they could have charged a fee to the migrants in America as well. You see, people, as much as I am a conservative, I'm a person that continues to base all my opinions on biblical values.
Not afraid. If we provided something for your own benefit, then come and register. That's all we ask. If you
March 1st marks the start of the sea turtle nesting season here in Trinidad and Tobago. Our country is the third largest leatherback turtle nesting site in the world, our tiny little island. Approximately 10,000 turtles visit our shores every year to lay their eggs, and our country is home to many species of endangered and critically endangered turtles, such as the hawksbill sea turtle, the green sea turtle, and the leatherback sea turtle. I think that's one of the most known of all. After 2 months in their nest, hatchlings emerge from the sands and make their way to the ocean. Matura, Las Cuevas, Fishing Pond, and Grand Revere are some of the most popular beaches where people can gather to observe this amazing phenomenon. I really have to go and visit one of these days. During nesting season, these beaches are protected and permission is required from qualified tour guides to view the turtles. This season lasts for 6 months until August the 31st. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Ravi Ratiram is assuring farmers that a reworking of the flood relief and compensation system is being considered. He was speaking at the Agricultural Public Forum in the La Hokata Talparo district, and while responding to a question on coverage farmers may or may not have for disasters, he noted that a new system is being considered, and that is really good because farmers were neglected by the PNM administration, Rowley administration, for the past 10 years. Regional news up next.
Registration as well. So what we would have had is several farmers who were actually registered receiving compensation, but we also have several farmers who were not registered as registered farmers, and they find themselves in a difficult situation because it might be no fault of theirs, but possibly the system that did not renew a lease. A lease might have expired. You might have been operating with a lease, your lease expired, and because of your expired lease now, you have not been able to renew your farmer's registration, etc. And there can be many other reasons contributing towards that. We would have been working very closely with farmers, setting up our People's Resolution Unit and trying our best to address the individual issues, whether it is cleaning the watercourse, fixing the roads, fixing bridges access, etc. Pre-larceny matters, and basically restoring confidence in the entire sector.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Cuthbert Knights, recently noted the importance of the renewed national focus on agriculture, including livestock rearing by the new administration, food sustainability people. You know what, he pointed out that the pedigree weaner lambs are being provided to farmers at no cost. Wow. The ceremony was also attended by Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Rural Transformation, Israel Bruce. The SVG Food Security Project aims to enhance food and nutrition security by increasing the production and productivity of selected commodities, particularly among business-oriented small farmers and fishers.
If NIS fails, there will be thousands, in our books about 10,000 persons, who will be moved from safety to poverty. Families will also bear heavier burdens. Economies will weaken DGFP, and public confidence will erode. But currently, our NIS is strong. Retirees, Sister Duggan, live with dignity. Because book it and show you receive your pension and Brother Robinson every fortnight, on time and in full. Also, the workers have security. Because any contingency that results in loss of income, your income is partially replaced, Brother Robinson. You're laughing. And the country benefit from stability. During COVID-19, our members were acutely affected. And we partner with government to step in to ease that burden by introducing.
More than 100,000 Guyanese children are set to benefit from lifelong digital health records under the government's expanding electronic healthcare system, as President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali on Saturday outlined a transformative shift towards proactive, data-driven healthcare delivery development. I love it. I love it. I just love to see the development taking place in Guyana. Yes, people will say, but you know, they're still backward compared to Trinidad. Yes, but they are moving forward. The initiative builds on the January launch of the National Electronic Health Record System, NEHRS, a US $3.3 million project implemented through a contract with UK-based company Rio Med Limited. The system is designed to significantly improve how patient information is accessed, managed, and shared across public health institutions nationwide, while eliminating inefficiencies associated with manual record keeping. Now, of course, that is what used to be used in the past, but nowadays, to be more efficient and to save on time, definitely this type of program is important. According to President Ali, the integration of electronic health records and expanding screening initiatives have already resulted in tens of thousands of children having their baseline medical data secured properly, allowing for continuous tracking of their health throughout their entire lives. February recorded 60 murders in Jamaica, making it the deadliest month in more than a year. Even as the country posted a 24% decline in killings for the first 2 months of 2026 compared with the same period in 2025. So therefore, it kind of shows that even Jamaica's ZOSO type of law, they have a different name for it, isn't as effective. Because why? Once again, in that Caribbean region, their police service is quite corrupt, and probably their detecting rate or the detection rate isn't that high either. From January 1st to February 28th, some 93 murders were recorded, 30 fewer than in the first 2 months of last year, according to the latest crime statistics published Monday by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The Barbados Manufacturers Association on Monday called for more urgent policy measures to boost competitiveness after the recent departures of major industrial players, including the Arawak cement plant and Berger Paints like what we had in Trinidad. Do we still have that? Probably, I believe so, yeah? While insisting that domestic manufacturing remains resilient. So you see, it's not just Trinidad that large companies are appearing to be just closing down. In that strange, but it's the economy, yeah? The economy. And well, here in Trinidad and Tobago, we definitely know the economy was collapsing because of the People's National Movement. And they left the burden upon the UNC to try to recover it. Sadly, the only problem is that the UNC is putting placing the burden on the citizens by increasing taxes and fees and fines. But hopefully, and not hopefully, I'm quite confident that they will use that money that we are being frustrated into having to spend. They're going to use it to develop and improve our healthcare and develop Trinidad and Tobago. Just days after hundreds of workers lost their jobs at the Grand Lucayan Resort in Bahamas. See, once again, I'm telling you, this place is just closing down. The head of the Trade Union Congress, Obi Ferguson, says he is suing after reports claimed he reached an agreement with the government on payouts. Wow, you see, I'm telling you, even in Bahamas, having problems with their government and all. It's not just here in Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados. But I think they have elections in Barbados soon. So let's see if they will put back in the same party again, or they'll give somebody else a chance.
But I heard all over every radio station indicated that I had a meeting with them and we came to an agreement with respect to the workers at Grand Lucayan. That is irresponsible, is an outright lie. I'm filing a writ for defamation of character.
The fallout continues over redundancy payments at Grand Lucayan Resort, as Trade Union Congress President Obi Ferguson says he is taking legal action. This after reports he met with labor officials and reached an agreement on payout terms for displaced workers. Ferguson telling our news that never happened. On Friday, Director of Investments in the Office of the Prime Minister, Felicia Woods-Hannah, said government completed a targeted redundancy exercise at the resort, adding that workers were paid in accordance with the law. But Ferguson says those statements have left many former employees confused and distressed.
One lady, she's crying on the phone. She got $1,200 We ought to be there for 29 years. You know what it is? 3 weeks for each year of service. Up to 29 years. You see, you multiply that and see how much they're trying to take from those workers. That's ridiculous.
Ferguson says the TUC submitted its own proposal months ago and claims communication since then has been limited.
International news now. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has reportedly stated that if necessary, his army would stand with Iran. He remarked that it's drawing global attention as tensions continue to rise in the Middle East. People are wondering if World War III will start. The statement signals possible diplomatic or strategic alignment between Pyongyang and Tehran. This is not about possible. Everybody knows that they support Russia, supports Iran as well, raising fresh concerns. As a matter of fact, not just Iran, the Ayatollah, because the Iranian people want the Ayatollah to be removed. The vast majority of Iranians, raising fresh concerns among international observers about the widening scope of the crisis. Analysts say such rhetoric could further complicate already fragile geopolitical dynamics and increase pressure on global powers to respond carefully, because right now, I think even the British is supporting America in their intervention in Iran, of course, only because Iran started to target places that had nothing to do with this war to begin with. In parallel to the Israeli Defense Force activity as part of Operation Roaring Lion, IDF soldiers are operating in southern Lebanon and are positioned at several points near the border as part of an enhanced forward defense posture, because, of course, we all know Hezbollah, on behalf of the Ayatollah, will be trying to attack Israel as well. The IDF is working to create an additional layer of security for residents of northern Israel. The IDF is conducting targeted strikes against Hezbollah terrorist infrastructure in order to remove threats and prevent infiltration attempts into Israeli territory. The Hezbollah terrorist organization chose to attack Israel on behalf of the Iranian regime, just like what I said, and it will bear the consequences of those actions. The IDF will not allow harm to Israeli civilians, and rightfully so, and will continue to act to defend the state of Israel and its citizens. Now for the interesting facts segment. In a discovery that challenges one of the most fundamental rules of biology, researchers have confirmed that oxygen is being produced in the lightless depths of the Pacific Ocean. Located nearly 13,000 feet below the surface, this dark oxygen is not the result of plant life or photosynthesis, but rather a chemical reaction triggered by polymetallic nodules on the sea floor. These mineral-rich rocks, which contain metals like cobalt, nickel, and manganese, carry an electric charge of up to 1.5 volts, roughly the same as a standard AA or AA battery. I'm telling you, God's ways, God's creation is past finding out, people, it will take eternity to even understand the entire universe, because it was created by an omnipotent and eternal God.
Welcome to Real Conservative News Travel Segment. San Diego, California is a premier, year-round, sun-soaked coastal destination known for its 70 miles of stunning beaches, the world-famous San Diego Zoo, and a vibrant, laid-back culture. Featuring a mix of urban excitement and natural beauty, popular spots include Balboa Park, the historic Gaslamp Quarter, La Jolla Cove, and a top-tier craft beer scene. Explore 70 miles of coastline, including popular spots for surfing, swimming, and relaxing, such as La Jolla Cove and Coronado Beach.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all. In Jesus' name,